Hello again, everyone. Happy Sunday. I am Gary Gatto. Welcome to P1's broadcasting coverage of round 4 of season 9 of the longest continuously running DW12 series on iRacing today. It's the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear, coming to you tonight from Michigan Legacy Michigan International Speedway for the 9th running of the Dark Horse Michigan 240 and the second leg of the Dark Horse Grand Slam. As always, joining me in the booth, and after taking a little bit of a break from our race earlier this afternoon, is Andrew Wood. Andrew, the Catalyst, is here with me. And Andrew, had a little bit of excitement at the last race, but now we're kind of back in a place that, well, we know we are almost guaranteed to get good racing from. It's DW12s at Michigan, and it's Legacy Michigan on top of that. Not the newly paved, more paved version, but a little bit more of the rough and rumble version of Michigan, where we expect really wheel-to-wheel and wing-to-wing type of racing tonight, and they always seem to put on a good show here.
Yeah, absolutely, Gary. Good to be with you again. Round 2 for the day, but what's actually interesting, I noticed that we're later in the day. I see a lot of shadows on the front straightaway. So that's going to lead to a little bit of a cooler track temperature, I would imagine, just based on the sun going down. The track's going to cool in certain parts of the track. So I think that's going to lead to a very interesting situation in terms of drivers trying to find their way on the track and follow cars one and another down the straightaway. So I'm excited to see kind of how happens here. I wonder if it's going to be more of a fuel save situation or if we're really going to be going all out.
And here is tonight's starting lineup from Michigan, as we are halfway away from getting a green flag to start this race. It's Wags on the pole, our winner of our last race, and Gary Miguel. Peterson and Kirkenbauer, the prodigy, back on row 2. Highsong and Lovern, Brubacher and Albrecht, the winner from Indianapolis a season ago, in row 4. Murph, our defending series champion, and senior Kirkenbauer back on row 5. Teed and Zier, Stouffer and Gallas, Hobson and Ty Quilla, and Greenlee and Mitchum rounding out the remainder of this 18-car field, coming to the green flag.
18 cars is a little bit better than we saw at Iowa. It might be a little bit more excitement. We might see some of these drivers in the back making their way to the front. We'll have to see how the strategy plays out.
Green flag, green flag.
And Wags with the big jump. And the Buddy Rice throwback from Ray Hall Letterman Racing. He's going to lead the field into 1. Right behind him, Eric Peterson. Jeremy Miguel fades back to 3rd. Highsong 4th. Indy Kirkenbauer, the prodigy, in 5th, as we are going to go pretty much nose to tail down this backstretch.
Clean start from most of the field. We saw some drivers on the outside not really get the greatest start. They fell back a little bit, but it's only a matter of time before those positions are picked back up. As you see, outside the top 5, that draft is really, really heavy. We have AJ Hobson coming up the field right now.
Yeah, draft envelope on these cars about 0.6 of a second. Not quite as big of a draft envelope as we see with the IR18s, a 1.5 for those. So these guys got to be very, very close together. All these drivers are going to be very, very close together in order for the draft to work. And to the point, Eric Peterson, Wags in 2nd, Highsong 3rd, now Highsong 4th, Kirkenbauer 3rd, and Ty Quilla from the back of the pack already up to 4th, up 12 spots in the period of now 2 laps. Wow, he's on a move to the front.
Yes, Ty Quilla is definitely making the moves that he has to make to get his way up there to battle with the leaders. Once he gets up there, then he can really decide if he wants to do a fuel save or if he wants to kind of hang out a little bit and let other drivers make their decisions around them. And AJ Hobson also has come up through the middle.
JB goes to the back. JB decides to fade to the back.
Already could be a fuel save situation for Yari. He's deciding, I'm not going to be up with this pack right now. I want to sit somewhere else compared to where all these other drivers are. But we're 2 by 2 from the leader all the way back to around. Actually, the whole field is 2 by 2 right now.
Yeah, JB looks at that. That is too crazy. I am out of here. He goes to the back, and he is joined back there by Mason Mitchum. And Mason has made a kind of a living here lately from coming to the back to the front. in the Rebel Alliance there livery, and he will also attempt to save some fuel and ride it out in the rear of the pack. But up front, Jeff Heisog, who races very well at these racetracks, he is your leader. Wags down low, going to pick up the lead, and A.J. Hobson in the Smithfield entry. He comes to the point, and now Wags says, everybody go ahead. I will go to the inside and allow the train on by.
It's interesting to see which of these lanes is going to take over. The bottom lane is working really well right now in terms of keeping the shortest distance around the track. We have some of the drivers on the high side that are traveling a little bit more, but they're keeping their fuel save going for the ones that are sitting behind the leader of the outside pack right now. The inside line tends to be the best one if you want to pick up some spots. So at the beginning of this race, we're seeing some of these inside lane drivers really making some moves early.
Here are the points coming into today's race. Peterson leads Murph by 4, Kirkenbauer by 5, and Heisong by 6. So the top 4 all 1, 2, 3, 4 right on top of one another in the points championship. So this is one of those races that anybody, literally anybody, could win this race. That's how Michigan is in these cars. But on top of that, you can also very easily lose your championship at places like this. Pack races like this, one car typically turns into a 2, 3, 4 car, and sometimes even more type of accordion style event with the way that they're close racing. So you always got to be alert, Andrew, about what's going on in these type of races. Do you always have to be at the front racing for the lead and racing hard, or do you do something like in the back of the pack? You've seen some of these guys start off and they go to the back and just kind of hang out in the back.
Well, I think if you're sitting at the back of these lines right now, you're just going to be patient and try and protect your tires, and then maybe as the tires start to wear a little bit, you might be able to pounce a little bit more there. So I think that no one's really saving fuel right now except those drivers on the high side. Everyone's kind of single file on the bottom right now, the fastest way around the track. So I think that's going to continue based on what I've seen from how these drivers are acting so far.
Riding with our defending series champion, Mark Murphy, as he is riding down on the bottom lane right behind Chris Albrecht, who won at Indianapolis last season. A.J. Hobson's looking for a win. He'd like to get a win today. He rides in second. Brian Greenlee now riding at the point as he is holding down the Indy Racing League line at the bottom, Andrew. Just married to that white line like now, not coming off it one bit.
Yeah, we see all the drivers are hanging out down the bottom right now, so that 2x2 action that we saw maybe 3 or 4 laps ago is not really quite how the drivers want to act now. They want to go full rich on the fuel, and they want to try and push the car to the best of their ability to try and pick up these spots. So the high side is only going to be used for passing. As we see a gap possibly opening up on the inside, they're going to take it right away.
Brian Greenlee starts to pull out by 0.4 of a second, and I think you're right. I think those that want to save are immediately saving right off the bat, and those that want to go to the front have gone to the front. And now we're starting to see this group kind of space itself out. Hobson now catches back up to Greenlee, but Greenlee at one point was about 0.6 of a second in front, almost getting ready to break the envelope, and Hobson brings the group back closer. But I think everyone now is starting to do the math in their head and might possibly think that this is, if we can stay green for a long time, this is going to turn into a fuel mileage race.
It's always tough to tell if it's going to be a fuel mileage race or not, because you never know what kind of cautions are coming your way. So I'm sure these drivers just want to get the first stint out of the way, see how the car handles, play around with different lines and different ways to get around other cars that are ahead of them. I think right now the inside line, the drivers that are planted right on the yellow line on the bottom are using a little bit of a fuel save strategy, not really trying to make the moves forward that you would expect. And if they save enough fuel little by little, I think that they're not going to be using so much tire to stay on the bottom either. So I think it's just a matter of just getting comfortable where you're sitting and then see what happens later on in the run.
And I forgot to look before the race. If you could look for me and just remind me, as Charlie Teed goes to the point there in that Valvoline livery, what is the fuel capacity? They're not always at 100% here at Dark Horse. This might be an 80% race. And if so, that will change my numbers just a little bit. And also the tire limits. Are there any tire limits today because, again, fresh tires in these cars mean so much. And if they have a tire limit, it might just be possible that they just can't throw on a bunch of new tires and send it here in this race if we get a lot of caution.
Yeah, I could definitely have a look for you. I believe the fuel capacity is 80%.
Okay.
From what I remember, but as for the tire limits, I do not believe there is a tire limit either. I will check on that.
Because if we're at 80%, that should put us in about a 3-stop strategy, and that's going to be very even. Lap 30, lap 60, lap 90, lap 120. And we are halfway through that first stint right now. So, it makes me think that maybe getting to 30 laps might be tough for a couple of these drivers, at least maybe in the first stint or so.
Yeah, I believe I just read on the rules here that we are 80% fuel and no tire limits. So the drivers are going to be able to...
No tire bill.
Yeah, no tire bill at all for this race. So the drivers can stop as many times as they feel necessary, and they're able to come down pit road every lap under caution if they really wanted to. So as we see now, it looks like the higher line is starting to take shape a little bit, and the drivers on the bottom are getting overtaken by those drivers that are in the middle lane as the tires start to wear a little bit. Some of the drivers that are trying their best to hang on to that bottom line are really starting to use those right side tires a little bit more. So we'll have to see what happens later on in the stint as we see a couple of cars towards the back of the field touch the yellow line there. So trying a little bit too hard to try and stay to that yellow line, Gary.
Hugo Gallas in the gold charge goes to the point and leads that lap over Charlie Teed. We're seeing names that are up in the front that we don't see an awful lot. Hugo Gallas leading. Charlie Teed's been a while since Charlie's gotten the win in the series. He's looking for another one today. Gary Lovern, who's been on the podium for a couple of races here recently, he's in third. Our points leader, Eric Peterson, in fourth, and A.J. Hobson in fifth. So seeing some new names up at the top.
Always great to see some new names up the top there. And as we talk about week after week, we have a stretch of new winners that have showed up in this series. Matt Wagner broke the streak last week, but it resets to the last time that he won, which I think was 9 races ago. So I think we're like 9 for 9 is how you would say it.
I have to go back and look. Yeah, we are definitely for sure 3 races this season, 3 different winners. We started off the season at Auto Club Speedway. Mark Murphy won there. Indy Kirkenbauer won at Charlotte. Matt Wagner won at Iowa. This is the 4th race of the season. So we have started this season 3 for 3. And if I just click here, let's see. Wags last won at Gateway in round 3 of last season. So Peterson then won the next race at Iowa. Luis Gonzalez Nunez, LGN, who is now helping me with some of these graphics. He won in round 5. Christopher round 6. Hysong round 7 here at Michigan. He is a defending winner. Craig Forsyth round 8 and Chris Albrecht round 9 at Indianapolis. And then you add the 3 rounds to the championship that we started this season. I think you're right. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we could go 10 for 10 if actually, wait a minute. I'm going to take it back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm doing it wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Live TV. 7, 8, 9. So we're 9 for 9. You're right. We're 9 for 9. And if we get another winner that's not from that list of previous drivers I just spoke of, we would be 10 for 10 in our last 10 races.
And of course, we have a couple new drivers on the grid that have joined us from the Votive Series tonight. So that does open up a chance for someone new to come in. And of course, of those names you mentioned, I think that 4 of them aren't even on the grid tonight. Jeff Hysong is the defending race winner. Of course, he's on the grid tonight, so I'm sure he's going to do his best to try and replace himself with a brand new win tonight. So him and Wagner are 2 names that jump off the page for me as drivers that possibly could win tonight. So let's see what happens. I'm watching Christopher's on board right now. He's one of the drivers on that bottom line, and that bottom line is definitely starting to check up quite a bit. So if you're on the outside, you definitely have the opportunity to pick up a few spots.
Here we see last lap speed, so 2:19. So they're not really back there saving too much. Haisong won the last race we had here, round 7 of season 8. We did 125 laps instead of 120. He beat Christopher by 32 thousandths of a second. Eric Schaus, who we have not seen in a while either. He's a former series champ, was third, a tenth of a second back. 23 cars started that race. 12 cars finished on the lead lap. There are 8 cautions for 13 laps for that race that we had here at Michigan, tying for the most cautions, 8. Most cautions ever at Michigan. That's how it's ranked there. But Hugo Gallas running the point. Hugo goes to the second lane up top. Jari Brubacher now second. Charlie Teed in third. Brian Greenlee in fourth. Peterson fifth. Lilac Zier in the Janet Guthrie throwback. Lilac is back in the 89 and ninth position. Now back to 10th. Indy Kirkenbauer up to 9th.
It's going to get very close to pit stop time here very soon, and all these drivers on the bottom lane are going to have to really adjust to make sure that they don't get caught out by the driver that's pitting on the inside here. So I'll be interested to see if some of the drivers are going to migrate a little bit more towards the top here as we get towards the end of the fuel tank.
Jari Brubacher to the points. Big run on the high side. He goes to the lead.
I'm also looking at AJ Hobson on the high side as well, and it looks like he's trying to pick up a few spots here. He was previously in 9th place. He's up to 6th now. 8th place. And yeah, it looks like some of the drivers are not really keen to sit just on the fuel-saving inside line much anymore. So things are going to start to pick up here as we get closer to the end of this fuel tank.
Riding with A.J. Hobson. Look at the offset in his steering as we go down the backstretch. He's definitely dialed. That's one of the few things you can change on these fixed setup cars is their steering offset, and he likes it offset a fair degree down the backstretch here in these cars.
Yeah, and when you're talking about steering offset, you're talking about keeping the wheel straight, going in a straight line, or maybe even just a little bit off to the right, so that when you turn into the corner, the wheel is straight. So that's the best way to tell if you're turning too much or not enough. Some of these drivers are definitely changing some of these little intricate pieces of the cockpit controls there to try and make their cars a little bit more comfortable to how they like to drive it.
Yeah, this is a fixed setup race, but the DW12s, the tools are not available to you in a fixed setup race, unlike the IR18. That is something kind of unique and special to the IR18. But you do have the ability to change your steering offset in the pits before you start the race. And in the car, you can change your brake bias, but that is the only setting that you can change in the car. As the top 7 have started to pull away a little bit from AJ. AJ's riding the bottom, but Teed, Brubacher, Gallas, Peterson, Indy, Kirkenbauer, Greenlee, and Wags have kind of broken away a little bit, and they're about ready. In fact, looking at the difference on the tree, the scoring tree, let's get to gaps. Hobson is right. Hobson's on the verge of losing that draft, actually.
We're going to start seeing some pit stops this lap, and once the cars start to slow down, that gap will start to close up a little bit. I believe Jari might be the first one to come in.
There goes Jari. We watch him peel away.
So it looked like that bottom line had to break up a little bit, which allowed AJ Hobson to close back in on that front pack again. So Yari's first to blink, and we'll have to see who comes in next lap. Now the whole field is back together again. Those two groups have come together. Next lap, we're going to see. I've already heard quite a few drivers chirp in. I believe Brian Greenlee is going to pit. I think Hugo Gallas also is going to pit. So we're going to start to see these cars file off the pack here.
Oh, whoa, Hugo Gallas. He got it under control. Charlie Teed bringing it to pit road. Greenlee bringing it to pit road.
We see Yari rejoining right in front of the whole pack here. So this is the time where the drivers can sift right into line, get a little bit of a draft from the drivers that are in the big pack, as it is still a big pack. And from there, we'll have to see if they can get a little bit of time. It's getting very, very dicey there to get to the bottom. We have 4 drivers coming in, 5 drivers coming in right now.
And that is not a purple lap just now set. That's just a purple lap earlier in the race by Lilac Zier in the Janet Guthrie livery. Oh, gosh, these guys coming off of pit road. They need to get back on the racetrack, and that bottom line is definitely the preferred line. Now Mark Murphy at the point.
Murphy's coming in along with...
Oh, and he gets spun and turned around by Chris Albrecht, I believe. I don't think he meant it on purpose. And a defending series champion, bad luck has bestowed him again, but he is able to point that car in the right direction. And hopefully he has the fuel to make it back around and execute the fast repair and get that car repaired. But we are under caution. I believe Gary Lovern was also involved in that incident. Gary Miguel also involved.
Yeah, this is always a dodgy time, right, when it's pit stop time, because you can't come in right away. And if anyone's kind of teetering on that running out of fuel moment, then it's possible that they could run out of fuel on track. But we'll have to see when the pace car picks them up if they're able to clutch it all the way around.
And let's watch what happened between Albrecht and I didn't see contact. I just knew Albrecht was in the these cars move so quickly. I didn't see contact, but Albrecht was the closest car in the picture. Yeah, there was contact. Let's watch from Albrecht's point of view. And you said it, and I don't know if everybody heard it, but you said that Murph made the call that he was coming to pit road. I got to assume that everyone heard it, right?
Yeah, it's more than likely that everyone heard it, but yeah, I think everyone was just kind of pinned to that bottom line there, and that pit entry breaking point comes up a lot faster than we think, especially with the worn tires. You have to really get yourself centered right on the pit entry so that you make sure that you get in there. But yeah, it was definitely one of those sketchy situations that I was mentioning earlier on in the race, where everyone was pinned to the bottom line, and you have to make sure that you're giving the person ahead of you the opportunity to enter the pit road.
Gary Lovern has to tow to come to pit road. Gary Miguel, he might be dead sticked. He gets down there barely.
We were talking about those drivers that were very, very close to running out of fuel, and it just was the worst of both worlds for everyone. If you weren't able to do that extra lap under the pace car, it makes it very difficult to try and come in and get the fuel you need. So this is one of those opportunities where if you could pit with 2 laps to spare just in case something happens, it really does pay off for you in the long run.
Well, everyone did come to pit road, and your leader now is Eric Peterson, Matt Wagner second, Lilac Zier in third, Jeff Heisong fourth, and Chris Albrecht in fifth. If you enjoy our coverage of the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear and you respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future P1 iRacing broadcasts. Tonight's Michigan 240 and the Dark Horse Racing Series is presented by 4D Racewear. Check out 4D's line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the stream description. And now you can also order your own race awards and custom championship rings for your leagues. Just check out 4dracewear.com to learn more. Under caution.
So I don't think we put ourselves in any sort of fuel safe situation for the rest of the race, just because it was in the middle of everyone's pit stop rotation under green. So everyone was able to do their first stint under green just fine, and now we're going to go green with about 85 laps left to go. So this is definitely going to be 2 more stops for everyone.
So yeah, we are probably in the, as we're getting ready to go green this time by, we are in the, probably the 3-stop strategy window, where we see about lap 60 will be the next round of pit stops, give or take, as we start to get a little bit of accordion action in the back as Murph goes low, and he's going to get passed on the outside. No, AJ lets him back in line, but a little accordion action a little bit further on back.
Yeah, definitely a little bit sketchy there, and now it looks like the top 10 could break away if there's no forward momentum by Yari. He's the one that's leading that second pack down there, so he has to really, really push it to try and catch up to those cars up ahead of him. But if the swap draft can come into effect, I'm sure that he'll let everyone go, which he does.
Yeah, you got to be really on it in these cars. On the restart, oh, Wags goes from the high side to the low side. But on the restart, we go 3 wide at the line like it's the start of the US 500 as they dive into 1. But on these restarting these cars, you got to really be on it, Andrew. Once you see that green flag, you got to hope the car in front of you is going as well, because if you lose that draft, which it does kind of look like back from AJ Hobson and that group back there, they're in some trouble.
That's a hard thing to do to time it just right, because you have to time it such that you remain in that draft envelope. And now it's going to be a matter of, will this second pack work together to try and swap draft to make sure they catch that group up ahead? Otherwise, that's the end of their run until we have another caution period.
That is 0.8 of a second. Again, draft envelope of these cars extends about 0.6 of a second, so they have already lost the draft.
Seems like they're getting it back very, very slowly. I think that whole
car on the wall off of 2. Hugo Gallas, big damage as he slides to the inside. Not sure what happened. Let's go back in time. Right in front of Ty Quilla in the Nesquik car. Just get a little dirty air, get loose. Oh, no, a little bit of help.
That almost looks like a little bit of a misjudgment of trying to do a swap draft or not, but regardless, there was contact there, so...
Christopher meatball flag.
Maybe the live stewards are not going to like that too much, but that second group has managed to catch up to the front again, so Lilac Zare is making her way up through the pack here. It looks like right through the middle where all the clean air is, there's an opportunity for Lilac to come all the way back up towards the front again.
Not sure what happened to Christopher, but he is showing a meatball flag. I'm not sure exactly where he got hit or damaged. But he has shown a meatball flag, and he's going to have to come to pit road.
I actually found it. I think there was contact with Gary Lovern on the restart. Looked pretty benign to me. Gary got a little bit sideways, but ran right into the left rear of Christopher's car. So that could have been where it came from, but it doesn't look like Christopher's car is damaged really at all.
Boom, right there. Oh, well, that second hit might have been the one that did it.
Yes. I think Christopher seems to be okay. Christopher is continuing right in the pack here. So
he's got to answer the the meatball flag, though. He's got 5 laps to do it. I think he has another lap or so. He can execute the fast repair as soon as he hits pit road. It's not going to be a penalty, but the penalty effectively is coming to pit road.
We're getting very, very tight here around P11, 12, 13. We got 3 wide. Everyone's trying to make up a little bit of progress right now to make sure they don't lose the whole pack and everything. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens with Christopher's meatball. There's just no room to get to the bottom right now if you're not already on the bottom.
And that's a DQ. He is going to be DQ'd. Christopher is no longer being recorded on timing and scoring.
It's very unfortunate, especially because the car seems to be doing just fine if you're able to keep driving it. But yeah, you have to answer the meatball flag if you're dropping any sort of debris or anything on the track like that. That's that's what the meatball's for. And if you don't answer it, then that's obviously a problem. So we'll have to see what happens with Christopher if the car continues to drive around. Now looks like Stouffer's gotten to the bottom, so may see some action here in the next lap or two.
Back up front, it is Wags and Murphy, two of the guys running at the point for that Iowa victory. Wags got the victory over Murph. Murph now wanting to prove a point, and also Murph also probably seen a little bit of red. Oh, to the inside, Wags goes. He didn't go to the outside, he goes to the inside.
It's getting very, very active back here around 10th place, where Gary Lovern is trying the outside line. Picked up almost the spot on Clay Kirkenbauer there, but Clay is still holding position right in front of Gary, and Charles Teed has definitely taken that spot as well. So that battle will continue, but we're already starting to see that the top 5 are starting to pull away, and that draft envelope is starting to increase a little bit.
Well, Murph already have executed the fast repair, as he is now in second behind Wags. And I would imagine he's seen a little bit of red out there as well. He's had a rough go in these cars here for the last couple of races, getting into incidents in one form or another, but he is trying to defend the series championship without getting a win last season. Got a win this season to start the campaign. And now he'd like to see another one to help solidify a bit of a challenge to the top here. But he and Wags working together at the front. Chris Albrecht in third, Eric Peterson in fourth, and Indy Kirkenbauer in fifth. Mason Mitchum up 12 spots to sixth. Clay Kirkenbauer, the senior of the two Kirkenbauers, he is in seventh. Charlie Teed in eighth. Brian Greenlee in ninth. Lilac Zier in 10th.
This second pack is not doing any favors to try and catch that group up ahead, but the top 5 has pulled out a little bit of a gap. And as you mentioned, Mason Mitchum is there trying to bring that group forward, but they're not really getting anywhere. Lilac Zier is trying to come on the bottom side here to maybe get some sort of swap draft going. Clay Kirkenbauer right behind, just pegged right in the middle there. Oh, a little bit of contact with Teed. It doesn't seem to affect that too much, but yeah, Mitchum and Lilac have not really made too much ground. Here comes Teed on the inside. But that top 5 has definitely started to pull away quite a bit.
48 of 120. So just to let everybody know on the weather situation, well, here's the weather situation in sim. It's not that bad. 67 degrees on the ambient, 80 on the track temperature, partly cloudy. Not in my neighborhood in real life. We currently are having some thunderstorms that are getting ready to roll through. Some we are expecting to be fairly violent. So in the event that we get kicked off and we are past the halfway point, we will not come back on the air more than likely. If it's still in the first half of this race, which is another 10 laps from now, we probably have time to rush back and get back on the stream and everything. But if we do go abruptly off the air due to a power failure or spike in my general area, and we are in the second half of this race, more than likely we will not be coming back. So just keep that in mind. We will try to let you know, whether it be through chat or in the Discord server, about what the plan is. But if everything happens in the first half of this race, we will try to do everything possible to get back on the air, so to speak, to bring you the remainder of this race. But in the second half, if we do go off, we do apologize that we will not be returning.
Yeah, let's hope that we can get this thing going the whole way through and there's no interruptions. Right now, there's no interruptions happening in this second pack here. Nobody has decided who wants to lead and who wants to swap drafts, and that is
killing them.
The top 5 to get completely pulled away from this group here now. It was Mason Mitchum, then it was Lilac, then it was Gary Lovern, then it was Charles Teed, and no one has really decided who wants to lead and who wants to just sit behind and save the fuel. If it were me, I would say go ahead, go for it. As long as we are efficient with doing it, I will gladly take a back seat and see what happens. Gary's going to come and try and do it again. Gary's taking the lead of the second group right now, and hopefully Gary and Brian Greenlee will start the swap draft. But at this point, they're not going to make up any ground.
No, they continue to lose. They lost another 2 tenths. We're looking at this number right here. It continues to grow, and they're working together, Andrew. But we'll get the camera back on that group. It's just not effectively working together. Now we're going to go 3 wide. Lovern in the middle. Now, Gary Lovern is down in the order. He's in 16th, 1 lap down. He might want to let one of the lead lap cars do the work for him, but he seems to be intent on his pace and wanting to run it out here. And now we're going to go 3 wide again. And the longer they keep doing this, and here goes Yari shooting the middle. Andrew, just explain, the longer they keep doing this and going 2 wide and 3 wide, it's just causing the gap up to those now top 5 get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it's a lost cause now, I'm afraid, Gary. They're not going to get the leaders no matter what they do. So now it's going to be a dog-eat-dog situation up here. So they'll have to try and see if they can figure something out before during the next pit stop cycle to try and stand out a little bit from the rest of the group that's behind them. The problem is that everyone seems like they're getting big runs and able to force their way through the pack, but you got to take that momentum and you have to just hold it and allow the drivers up front to try and do something. Yeah, the longer that we go on, the less they're not going to catch anyone.
Greenlee gets the slingshot around Teed. Now Teed needs to now get into Greenlee's slipstream and slingshot around him. And now they seem to be trying to be working a little cooperatively. But all this racing back here has cost them 3.5 seconds plus.
It's wild just watching these cars, how just sitting in a single file situation that the top 5 have been able to do and have been able to just pull away from everybody up ahead of them. And now it's forcing the drivers behind to really react to it and get into a swap draft situation, which seems a little bit of futile right now. So at the same time, we are about 8 or 9 laps away from our next pit stop. Probably less than that, actually. So we'll have to see. I think during the pit stop rotation, if the drivers get broken up a little bit, it possibly could get swung back together again. But the gap is so large right now that it's going to be very difficult to find anyone to tag onto the back of. But we know that the pit stop brings the drivers out in a weird part of the track sometimes. So if they're able to get into a single file formation, we'll have to see what happens about 10 laps from now.
Here's stops lap since last pit. Wagner with 26, Murph with 23, Albrecht with 24, Kirkenbauer with 24, Teed with 26. So not everybody in the top 5 is equal, and some might have to come to pit road sooner rather than later, although it looks to me that Albrecht, Kirkenbauer, and Peterson have been very patient in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th positions. They're just kind of riding out back there right now.
Yeah, I think you have to make it past lap 60 in order to make it to the end, for sure. Seems like 28, 29 are the full burn laps, and then if you could save a little bit, you could do 30. So I would say like around 63 or 64 is probably when we'll see the first drivers pulling in, and they'll be able to make it to the end with just one more stop.
Mason Mitchum and the Rebel Alliance gets the fast lap, a purple lap at a 2:22. But pit stop should be very shortly for all the leaders. Last time, the leaders, Wags did 31 laps. Albrecht did 33 laps. Peterson did 31 laps. Indy Kirkenbauer did 33. Murphy, he not exactly sure what he did. I think his number is off in the overlay because of the incident coming to pit road, but he eventually did come to pit road. But he was in the 30-lap neighborhood for sure.
Ty Quill is going to be the first one to come in the pits here from the second group. So Ty has come in. We'll have to see where Ty comes out, because that's going to give a good indication of where about on track that the driver is going to rejoin, and see if there's any chance to get some sort of draft.
And Indy Kirkenbauer, the purple lap that time by 2:22.9. So ups the limit a little bit higher. Here
comes Brian Greenlee. He's going to make his pit stop this lap. So Brian's going to come in. Also, I think that's teed up ahead as well, making the pit stop.
Teed and Greenlee coming in together. So at least they'll be able to work with one another. And it looks like they were starting to work with one another towards the end of that stint.
Okay, so Ty does come out with that front pack, and if he's able to tack onto this pack here and get a little bit of a draft, that's going to pull him farther ahead of those other drivers that are in that second group. But if they all decide to pit from this front group, then he's just going to be a single, a lone duck. Teed and Greenlee are done with their stops.
Wags, pit road.
Wagner is in. I think Jeff Haisong is coming in this lap. Yep, I'm hearing a bunch of drivers calling in right now, so we are going to have a big plume of drivers coming in on this next lap here.
Pit party inbound, and here comes Murph. This time he doesn't get punted coming to pit road. He's going to be followed in by Peterson. And here comes Zier trying to slow down that car. Here's A.J. Hobson. Here's Haisong on pit road. Here's your defending race winner from a season ago.
Chris Albrecht and Indy Kirkenbauer from that front pack still remain out there, so they were able to save a little bit of the fuel in there, which is notable to see if there's any opportunity for those drivers to not just come out ahead, but have a shorter pit stop towards the end of the race. So we'll see how long that Albrecht and Kirkenbauer, Indy Kirkenbauer, can stay out.
Chris Albrecht, black flag, speeding, coming to pit road. And effectively, at this point in the time in the race, unless you get another caution, his day's done. He's going to get a 40-second hold here and put him down at least one lap. So Indy Kirkenbauer staying out.
He's coming in.
As he's on the rev limiter down pit road looking for his pit stall. And he gets down, hits his marks. And up on the jack, crew goes to work. New set of Firestone Firehawk tires and some Shell Racing fuel. Down and away, going through him is Gary Miguel.
So we do see that big pack that was racing right before the pit stops has broken up quite a bit here. So we have Murphy, Peterson, and Wagner from the original front five group that are still locked
and
together.
Kirkenbauer beat him out.
Kirkenbauer has beat him out. Tequila and Lilac are running just in a pair, and then Yari, Brian Greenlee, and Charles Teed are all racing together here. So now we got just little tiny packs of cars that are able to work together to see if they can close in on any of the drivers up ahead of them. So Teed and Greenlee are going to probably lead this pack of three here and see if they can catch up to the back of Lilac and Mason. Sorry, Lilac and Tequila.
So now that group of five becomes a group of four. Kirkenbauer, Peterson, Murphy, Wags, your top four. Then we go back into that second group. There's a second mini group of Zier and Quilla with the undercut. So, and that improved him quite a bit around that entire group. And now in the top five. So somebody should probably take note of that if they have not done so already, that the undercut seemed to be pretty powerful around here right now.
Well, it's not just the undercut necessarily that he came out with other drivers that hadn't pit yet. So able to stay and get up to speed inside the draft immediately propels you slightly forward no matter what anyone else does on their pit stop, which is the key to these large tracks. If you pit at the right time and you come out of the pits and exit with other drivers and stay inside the draft, you immediately get up to speed faster and your lap times will be faster accordingly. So that's what happened with Tequila there. But now Ty is going to be a little bit behind on the pit stop rotation, but I still think it's possible for Ty to make it on one more pit stop.
And they only have a 4-second gap to try to reel in, and they're actually doing it. They're working together, and they got now the 4-second gap under 4 seconds now. So they'll keep at it, but unfortunately, Andrew, they're going to spend the remainder of this entire stint just doing this, and maybe might get it cut to a second or so, but they're not going to be able to reel in that lead group, not at their current pace.
No, it's going to take a lot of work and no mistakes at all in the swapping in order to do such a thing. And at the same time, if there's any sort of fuel save that was able to be done on the earlier stop is out the window now if you're running full rich. Well, you have to run full rich based on the way that the DW12 is, but you can't just do the lift and coast in the big groups like Ty was doing before, and Lilac as well.
If you're just joining us, this is P1's broadcasting coverage of the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear, coming to you from Legacy, Michigan International Speedway for the 9th running of the Dark Horse Michigan 240, where you've now completed 71 of 120 laps. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. The next race for us here on P1 will be our St. Peter's Day debut doubleheader. So it's going to be actually it's not St. Patrick's Day, excuse me. Not yet. That'll be on Tuesday. It's going to be our St. Pete debut doubleheader Monday night. Murph and Jacob Collins at 7 p.m. with the iRacing IndyCar Open Series. They will debut at St. Pete, followed by Jacob Collins and Sophie Connell on the call with the Indy Next Road Series. They will be at St. Pete. So it's our St. Pete debut doubleheader Monday night starting at 7 p.m., actually 8 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss it as we get to see for the very first time the brand new St. Pete course scanned in for us by iRacing is now available, and the first official races are next week, starting with the Open Series, the Indy Next Series, and culminating with the IndyCar iRacing Series on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern time right here on P1. You don't want to miss it. Tonight's 7th running of the Dark Horse Michigan 240 is brought to you by 4D Racer. Make sure to check out 4D's line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com. Actually, it's the 9th running, excuse me.
So
anyways.
Ty Quilla and Lilac are slowly chipping away at that lead. It's down to 3.4 seconds last time around. It's going to be probably another 15 laps or so before they get in the draft range of the top 4, but it is working. Regardless, as long as both drivers can make it to lap 90 or 91, they're going to be good to go to the end of the race. Unfortunately, because of the full fuel burn, that may or may not be possible. We'll have to see what the lap count will be. Ty was the first driver to come in, so we expect, because Ty Quilla is on a full burn right now, he will be the first driver to make a pit stop. So we'll have to see what lap that's on. But if it's lap 90 or 91, good to go to the end of the race.
Yeah, Ty is 14 laps into his current stint. So he should be right at his extreme limit at another, right there at the lap 90 mark. So we'll see if he can get to 90 and a little beyond to help give him a little bit of cushion.
The good thing about just having two drivers in the pack here, especially two drivers that are doing the swap draft only, is they can be very much efficient if they're able to just work as a pair. Whereas the group ahead of them has 4 drivers and 2 of them are doing the swap drafting, and the other 2 have to sit there like potted plants, just hoping that they could pull them along fast enough. But the longer that tail goes from the leaders, the easier it's going to be for the drivers that are behind to catch on to the back of that group very, very quickly. So another problem that I see here is that Hugo Gallas is now made it a 5-car train here. Hugo is able to stick with them. He's not as damaged as we thought from that incident, but that's just another car on the tail. So you may see 3.4 seconds behind, but in essence, you're actually really only about 3 seconds behind, because the drivers in the pack behind you can grab onto the draft a little bit sooner with more cars in this pack here.
And Hugo had some pace earlier in this race. He led some laps, but unfortunately got into an incident coming off of turn 2 and had to go to the pit road, get the fast repair executed, and is now currently 2 laps down. But we know he had pace before, and I think if he just hangs out and just stays at the end of this group and doesn't really get involved in the racing, he should be fine. But you're right. You add 0.6 behind Hugo's car, and that's basically a hand reaching out to anybody that can grab onto it, and if they can catch his draft, they will be part of this lead group. So he's now taken that 2.4 second lead and effectively made it 1.8 seconds as he's shaved 0.6 off really for that lead pack, for that second pack.
I'm just trying to think about those old westerns where they're on the caboose there, and you see a hand come out of the back of the caboose, and there's the people chasing the train, and eventually they're running a little bit faster than the train, and suddenly they grab hands. That's the image that you painted in my mind there of a hand reaching out.
You've been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption, haven't you?
No comment.
Let's ride with Lilac Zier. Let's watch from her point of view as they try to reel in that group.
Yes, that pair is definitely the most efficient of the swap drafters. Brian Greenlee and AJ Hobson aren't doing too bad of a job in the group behind. They've kept it around 3 seconds. It's dipped to 3.2 and then gone to 3 seconds and everything like that. But yeah, they're having to drag the entire group along with them. Luckily, they've gotten into a single file formation where they haven't had a lot of the battling that we saw last stint that allowed that group to get away in the first place. But at the same time, they still have a lot of work to do to try and catch up to the front pack. But I think that they will have some chance to do something at the next pit stop once everyone gets a little bit split up again. You could really make up a lot of difference as a driver with your in and your out lap and your box time.
And this is what we call swap drafting or leapfrogging. And this is what Lilac Zier and Ty Quiller are doing in 5th and 6th. And we'll try to explain it to you in layman's term. Basically, Lilac is punching a hole in the air. Ty's going to get a big run, and he will slingshot her. And then he will slide up, lend his draft to Lilac down the backstretch. She will slingshot around Ty, and all the while, they're just slowly reeling in that group in front of him. You see in this picture right here, we're riding with Lilac, we're watching those cars slowly get bigger and bigger and bigger in the picture.
In fact, Gary, the last 3 laps, the bigger group behind Lilac and Ty have been faster than both Lilac and Ty and the lead group. So eventually, if this continues, and it looks like you have to pick your best swap drafters that are the most efficient during the whole operation, and Brian Greenlee and AJ Hobson seem to be the best of that big group behind. So if they're able to continue to run faster, all the drivers will come to a head eventually, and we still have another pit stop, which could just break up these groups even more into little tiny packs. Obviously, we saw Ty Quilla was the first car to pit, so that's what brought Ty back from around 15th or 16th up to where Ty is right now. And if any driver from that back third group there, the larger group, decides to pull a Ty, come in right on lap 90, come out with a pack of cars, it'll be the same situation that Ty was in last time around. So I think it's possible that we could see the entire pack back together again for the end of the race. Ty just has to make it another 5 laps after he crosses the line, and I think he's good to go.
And on top of that, this looks easier said than done, but it's an art doing the swap draft. I mean, it's just not just you lead, I lead, you lead, I lead. You kind of got to do this non-verbally with the driver around you, because I'm sure Ty and Lilac are not in comms together, so they're doing this non-verbally, and not just anybody could do it. It is kind of an acquired skill. Absolutely.
You have to pretty much throw yourself in. You can't just learn to do it by practice. You have to throw yourself into it, and preferably with teammates around you that know what they're doing, so they can guide you. And you have to just be ready to listen and say, hey, you gotta hang back more. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. You gotta change all sorts of methods of how you drive, just from going for I want to pass you and stay ahead of you to okay, go ahead and take the spot back, and I'll get you back on the next straightaway. But I see it's very, very efficient for Ty and Lilac on this stint. And as you mentioned before, the cars ahead are getting bigger, and they notice that too. They're watching on the relative to see what like what the gap is for the whole situation, but they are happy to see that it's just 2 cars and not the whole pack at the moment.
And if we're riding with Hugo Gallas right now. He is actually lifting a little bit. So that is just allowing that group to get closer and closer and closer. So you see, again, on the throttle inputs.
Well, of course, Hugo is following 4 cars, so it's definitely going to be easier for Hugo to suck up to that group up ahead of him, and he has to lift. He has nowhere else to go or to take the momentum. Oh, Ty Quill is not going to make it. He's going to be coming in on this lap, at lap 89. That's 1 lap shy of where I think he'll be good to go. I could be wrong. It's possible that we could do 31 laps, but I think you had mentioned how many laps he was on the stint before. Is this lap 30 or 31?
Ty is coming in at lap 29 of this current stint.
It's not going to be enough. He has to find a way to save on the next stint. So hopefully they've done enough to possibly get the pack closer to the leaders, and then Ty can just chill in the back of the pack and save a little bit of fuel to make sure he can make it to the end. 1 lap of fuel around Michigan is child's play in the terms of fuel saving, but unfortunately Ty will not be on the attack, so he's going to be at the mercy of everyone else around him.
And now can Lilac Zier reel this group in. She has managed to save a little bit more fuel than, I shouldn't say she's managed to save a little bit more fuel. She's gone, her stop was after Ty, so she still has not completed her fuel stint. She went 32 last time. She's at 27 now, so she conceivably has about another 5 or so laps to go.
And if we take a look at Ty, he's all by himself on the track.
I think she's coming in now. Yep.
Yeah, Ty needs Lilac in order to save a little bit of that fuel, because if Ty were to go full rich for the rest of the race, he can only do 29 laps, and that's not going to cut it. So Ty needs other cars in order to save a little bit of fuel for the rest of this race. But we'll have to see what happens with everyone else, because he's probably going to need a little bit more than just Lilac around to save the amount of fuel that he needs.
Peterson, Teed, A.J. Hobson, all on pit road. Last stop, we are hypothesizing. This is final stops for these drivers. But back up front, it is Wags, Murphy, and the Prodigy all together, and they're joined by Hugo Gallas, who is currently 2 laps down in 17th position, but just hanging on to the back end of this group here. And again, putting himself in a position of something should happen with these drivers. He would benefit if he avoids it all by getting back on the lead lap or getting a lap back.
This is going to be the big money lap. We're going to see most of coming in.
Here comes Wags. Here comes Murph. So now Indy Kirkenbauer, much like the last stint, going longer. And he does have Hugo Gallas there to help in the draft a little bit. And this, now, depending on how much further into this run Indy can do, he went 32 last time. He's at 28 now. So if he can do another 4 laps, that is, and I think he's coming to pit road now. So he's only going to be able to do a lap more. I was getting ready to say, if he can do another 4 laps more, that is considerably less fuel that he has to take on this final stop than the cars that came before him.
Hugo Gallas is the last car here, so he's going to rejoin probably with Murphy and Wagner. I guess Murphy and Wagner are there, but Hugo's probably going to have to also pit at some point soon. Caution would be perfect for Hugo right now, because he can get one of his laps back.
Whoa, 3 wide, going into 3 and 4. Charlie T to the bottom. Jeremy McGill is currently shown as your leader, and he's trying to get the pit road. And he is slicing and dicing, and he does make it to pit road right in front of him, Chris Albrecht. Indy Kirkenbauer coming off of pit road now. And he's going to pop right back out with Murph and Wags. And this is going to be your battle for the race win, although Peterson's there. And not too far behind Peterson. Let's talk about him one more time. Lilac Zier and Ty Quilla. If Ty's got the mileage, he might be able to have the time to get up there and fight for this win here in the closing stages. So at one point we thought it was going to be 5 cars that had a chance to win. It went down to 4. Now it might go back up to 7 with as many as possibly as many as 6 cars with a chance to win here in the closing stages at Michigan.
We're talking about the hand reaching out of the back of the train to grab the drivers. Eric Peterson is kind of that middle ground right now. Eric is not able to stick with the draft of those 4 cars, or 3 cars up ahead of him. And it might pull Lilac and Ty Quilla up closer, but Ty needs to save fuel or he's not going to make it to the end of this race. So it's in Ty's best interest to try and continue to put themselves forward. And then hopefully if he gets up to the front, then he could just sit there in the back and wait for a time where Ty can pounce.
That's right. With Indy Kirkenbauer, he was seeing 3 wide in front of him. He sees 3 wide in front of him again. And when you're racing, Andrew, and you've raced these cars before, you're a winner. And there goes Hugo to pit road. You're a winner in the Lionheart Speedway Series in these cars, multiple winner. When you see 2 guys in front of you going 3, or 3 guys in front of you going 3 wide, and you're the 4th car in line, kind of what do you do?
Just pick the cleanest line is the only thing you can do. There's nothing really you can do to try and make a pass or anything because basically all the lanes will be blocked for the most part. But there should be a little bit of a sniff of clean air from there. So I think it's possible to just get the clean air, and maybe if someone up ahead of you makes a wrong choice somewhere and you can get a position. But yeah, it's a little bit of a problem. Okay, so Lilac and Ty have now caught Eric Peterson. And now would be the time where Ty Quilla will hope that Eric can get up ahead and maybe he can sit behind Lilac and Eric doing the swap draft. But there's a car coming out of the pit lane. That's Hugo.
Well, there's Hugo. Yeah, Hugo pops out right behind him, and that's, again, there's that hand out the back of the caboose reaching out to the cowboy on the horse trying to catch up to the Pony Express there.
This is as close as this group has been yet, but Ty still has to worry about his fuel, so I'm not really sure what he has cooked up and planned here.
Watching a little bit further back, as I believe that was Charlie Teed and Mason Mitchum banging wheels at the start-finish line.
We've now passed lap 100, so it's do or die. You're picking your strategy and you're sticking with it right now.
And if you're just joining us, you're watching P1's broadcasting coverage of round 4 of 9 of season 9 of the Dark Horse Racing Series, presented by 40 Racewear, coming to you from Legacy Michigan International Speedway for the 9th running of the Dark Horse Michigan 240. Where currently Mark Murphy, our defending series champion, leads. Matt Wagner is 2nd. Indy Kirkenbauer is 3rd with 20 laps to go. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. The next race here for us in the Dark Horse Series will be Sunday, March. It's going to be 2 weeks from now. I forgot the date now. I need to look it up. We're actually going to Gateway, Worldwide Technology Raceway, for round 5 of season 9 for the 8th running of the Dark Horse Gateway 350K. Start time is 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, and that will be on the 29th of March. Another doubleheader for me and you. We'll start the day at Las Vegas and end the day at Gateway.
We missed it when you were talking, Gary, but there was an incident with Charles Teed and Mason Mitchum. Entering turn 4, it spun Mitchum down pit road. I'm not really sure what the situation was there, but Mitchum is now out of the race.
We're going to go back in time and see if we can see that at all. Here it is. And they were banging wheels just before we cut away for that promo, and they were not giving each other any slack whatsoever. And we'll see what happens here. Ooh. Teed a little bit with the chrome horn.
Yeah, I think that was just another miscommunication situation. Mitchum didn't need to pit or anything like that, so I think maybe Teed was just trying to get a little bit of the draft on the high side, or low to go high and possibly get a run down the straightaway, but kind of just met in the middle. Almost kind of what it looked like with Ty Quilla and Hugo earlier in the race. Speaking of Tyquilla, he's now sat behind Lilac and Eric Peterson. As expected, I think he needs to let them swap draft so he could lift a little bit and save a lap of fuel. Everybody else in the field, I think, is good to go on the fuel tank, except for Tyquilla. They haven't really made too much of an inroads on that front pack quite yet, but if they keep working at it, they're running out of time. They have 15 laps to try and catch up to the draft of those front guys, but it looks like the top three have themselves set right now, and they're just hoping that the drivers behind don't catch up to them.
Tyquilla, the PRI Hoosier 500 Rookie of the Year, finished fourth in that race. Had a shot for the win there, going into turn 3 on the last lap. Got shuffled out, but still the Rookie of the Year. So a lot of racecraft by that driver in that group of cars right there. Lilac Zier is no slouch. Eric Peterson's no slouch. But we'll see if they can continue to reel in the big three right now, which is Wags, Murph, and Kirkenbauer, who ironically are the only drivers to get wins this season. Can they get that second win this season? It's looking like it's going to be one of these three. Tonight's 9th running of the Dark Horse Michigan 240 and the Dark Horse Racing Series is presented by 4D Racewear. Check out 4D's line of made-for-sim racing gloves, shoes, and apparel, and now race awards and custom championship rings for your own leagues. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the stream description. And hey, if you like what you're seeing out on the racetrack and you want to be a part of it, want to join the Dark Horse Racing Series, the car is free, the league's free. All you need are the tracks and the drive. Click on the Discord link in the description to learn how to get started. 13 to go here at Michigan.
Yeah, this pack is not catching those top three at any good clip. It's maybe 100th of a second here or there, or a half a tenth, I should say. And they're just not within the draft range. They're not doing it as efficiently as Lilac and Ty were doing it together before. Either that or the front guys have become more efficient in their swap drafting situation because 33-0 for Indy Kirkenbauer last lap, 32-9 for Eric Peterson. So they need to just do more than a tenth or half a tenth per lap.
Only the one caution today. We have not had another caution since that earlier incident. Knock on wood. Andrew, you missed a banger on Thursday night. Caution free at Fontana for California 500 in the Elite Racing League.
Oh, I'm very upset about that, Gary. I was downloading new content, and I literally had it done 1 minute after the session closed. It was very disappointing. Like, it wasn't even like I missed it by a few minutes, but it was a big download session, and I couldn't believe it. I was watching the clock and watching how much time was left on the download, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It's going to finish like a minute or 90 seconds too late for me to get in.
Caution-free 500-miler at Auto Club over in the Elite Racing League Thursday night. My second caution-free 500-miler that I've got a chance to call.
Yeah, it makes it a little quicker in order to get your night over with for sure.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I have a penalty I have to serve in that league, so I was hoping I could just get over with that race, but it lives on for another week
for Phoenix.
Yeah, of course. Maybe I'll pretend to download something and miss that race too. I don't know.
Back up front, 9 to go. Wag stood up bottom, going to pick up the lead. Murph slides up, gives a little dirty air to Indy Kirkenbauer. I've had a chance to call a caution-free race at be a part of a caution-free race at IndyCar race at Daytona. Be a part of a caution-free race at iRacing Super Speedway, and call a caution-free Indy 500, and call now a caution-free California 500. And those are outside of maybe the Indianapolis race. You can normally expect big calamity in all these other tracks, especially the way the pack racing is. And to go caution-free at those three racetracks, either be as a racer or as someone that called them, I'm circling them on my calendar as those are kind of once-in-a-lifetime type things.
I would have to agree with you there. I never would have guessed an iRacing Super Speedway race would go caution free there. But hey, these sometimes if you have the right people racing there, give a lot of room and respect to it. It is possible.
7 to go.
Yeah, this pack with Lilac and Tyquilla has completely fallen apart here. I think that they've finally come to the point where they realize that they're not going to catch that front pack with just 6 laps to go crossing now. So now it's a matter of just putting yourself in the right spot to get the best finish you can there.
Indy Kirkenbauer to the point as he shoots the middle. And here comes Wags underneath him and bringing with him Mark Murphy. And now with 6 to go, we normally say when we do these races with Lewis in the booth, he always says it's always the last 5 laps, and we're coming up to that point. He says it's time to cook the meat. When do you decide it's time to cook the meat here with 5 to go?
Man, it's very tough to tell. It has to do probably a lot with the life in the tires, the temperatures, everything like that. But I think it's just trying to figure out if you can get to the bottom. Right now, the way the track conditions are, it looks like Wagner is able to stay on the bottom, and that makes it almost impossible to get by on the high side. So Wagner, it's his race to lose right now. Just got to hang that white line and hope that no one gets underneath you and you don't come up too much there. But otherwise, if I was Kirkenbauer, I'd try and pinch Wagner the best I can with a nice run coming to the checkered flag. Don't pass him any time before that.
4 to go here at Michigan. Wags on the bottom, Kirkenbauer up top. There we showed you the conditions, and the track conditions are not that extreme. Murph laying back a little bit, maybe trying to work on the run. The better tires are going to be Kirkenbauer by about a lap over the next best car. Here they go, 3 wide through 3 and 4, coming now to 3 to go.
Looks like the worst side of the track is turn 1 and 2 in terms of holding the position there. So I think the pinching would need to be done in 1 and 2, but otherwise through 3 and 4, it's very, very tough to hang that second lane there. It's easier to do it if the track conditions are just right, but the run will have to come out of turn 1 and 2, I think.
Wagner is married to that white line. He is not coming off it an inch. Side by side again through 3 and 4. Kirkenbauer cannot muster up enough momentum on the high side to clear him, and won't be able to muster up enough momentum on the front stretch to clip him at the line. Here comes Murph on the high side.
And Murphy has even more distance to travel on the high side, so you see he falls back there in the middle of 1 and 2. So the high side's not going to do it either. I've been unfortunately stuck in 3rd place in Michigan before, and that high side just is not enough room.
Coming to the white flag, lap and a half left here at Michigan, here in the Dark Horse Racing Series. And they're Michigan 240. He's going to get a big run here. He's going to try to get a big run coming to the white flag. Indy with the run on the high side. Here comes Murph. Murph with the full head of steam on the high side. But it stalls out. Now on the bottom, Indy's going to lead him coming through the corner, but on the exit, here comes Wags. They're going to drag race down the backstretch. Indy with still a half a nose length down a lead down the backstretch, 3 wide, like the start of a 500-mile race, 3 by 3, going into turns 3 and 4. Indy slides up the racetrack, and that's going to cost him a little momentum. Here we come to the bottom of the racetrack. Wags is going to run at the bottom, and he is going to get the win. We saw Indy with the run, but just ran out of time, and Wags wins by 16 thousandths of a second.
You saw what Indy did there coming to the white flag. He purposely went a little bit high to try and get the draft that he needed, but it's next to impossible when the conditions are just right to hold that bottom line and be unflappable during the last few laps of the run there, especially when the tank is light and the car is turning just right. So nice job, Wagner, not to give up that line down there at all.
And that is 2 in a row for Wags.
Well, we're 1 for 1, Gary.
Back to 1 for 1. And I got to look to see when was the last driver to have more than 1 win during the season. It had to be going back to season 7. Season 7, yeah, Mark Cohn. won 4 races that season. Eric Schaus won multiple races that season as well. So it's been a little while since we've had a multi-time winner. All right, just need to get some stuff here. And here are your final results. The Michigan 240. A double Polish victory lap with Wags and Murph. But Wags with the win, second consecutive win, backing up his first place at Iowa. But unlike Iowa, where he was kind of handed the win, unfortunately, with some actions at the front there, Wags, kind of earned this on merit. He had the race for it at the end. And not to say that he didn't win it on merit at Iowa, but things were made a lot easier for him at Iowa. Here, it was a lot closer. 16,000 of a second. Indy Kirkenbauer comes home in second. Mark Murphy in third. Lilac Zier in fourth. Eric Peterson in fifth. Ty Quill in sixth. A.J. Hobson seventh. Charlie Teen in eighth. Jeff Heisong ninth. And Clay Kirkenbauer. So 2 Kirkenbauers in the top 10. Guillermo Miguel in 11th. Yari in 12th. Brian Greenlee in 13th. Chris Albrecht. Gary Lever and Hugo Gallus. Mason Mitchum. Chris Stouffer. I believe that's it. Yeah. All right, let's get some replays queued up, and we'll get into the interview room. All right, let's try that. And let's get into the interview room here and let's talk with our podium. I can find there's all right, let's see, let's move to trying to move. It's just out of my reach, and I'm trying to drag them down to our channel, and it's let's try here. Nope, it's not. I'm trying to get them down here. Okay. Why doesn't yeah, just come down to general, Murph.
Maybe I'll try. Hold on.
Yeah, let's let me get an Indy Kirkenbauer. Indy's up there too. So let's bring down Wags. Wags is now okay. Now we got Murph here. It's hard to grab from a high end all the way up in the high channels to the low channels, but we do have Murph. Murph, thank God for the fast repair. That's kind of really what saved you today. Talk about your race.
Yeah, I mean, it went pretty much according to plan. We were able to save a ton of fuel up front, and that paid dividends. On the second run, Maddie and I got together and were able to pull away and turn it into a 5-horse race. And then, as you know, as it does here at Michigan, if you get green flag pit stops, you can really string out the field. And 5 became 3, and um, Indy went first, and he was able to split us up. And I was trying to make a timing run so that I could get him at the line, and I messed up coming through 3 and 4 and had to get out of the gas, and so I think I kind of went a little bit early, but kudos to Matty Wags. Heck of a race from Indy. That was a ton of fun.
So Murph, congrats on third place there. So what do you think you could have done differently to kind of run that race? Because it looks like Wagner was kind of planted on the bottom for much of that last 10 laps there. So was it a matter of trying to make your run earlier and try and stamp your authority on the lead instead of just being that third car in line, or is there anything you could have done differently? What are your thoughts now looking back on the last stint?
I should have I should have waited. I had a huge run coming to get white, and I went to the outside, made it 3 wide, and I actually had the lead, I think, very briefly. Um, I should have saved that run. That run was available. That run was available anywhere, and I should have waited until the final lap to take it, and I think I might have been able to nip him at the line. But it's just a matter of who got to the bottom first was going to win, and that was Matt. And sometimes it wasn't worth risking. It wasn't worth risking a big wreck or any sort of bad situation to try to get the lead at that point. So we were going to take our shot. We took our shot. We got beat. Come home third, get on the podium. That's a good day at the office.
Murph, we got you. The points have now been updated. You're now fourth in the points. And really, the top 4 are all one on top of one another. Indy and Wags are statistically tied, although I believe Wags is going to hold the tiebreaker with the most wins. Peterson is now in third with 132, and you're in fourth with 131. So it's 136 apiece for Indy and Matt, 132 for Eric, and 131 for you. Still half a season to go. Got to be feeling pretty good. Provided that you kind of avoid the bad luck, you're still in the running for this championship.
Yeah, I mean, we got some good tracks coming up too. Gateway's next in a couple of weeks. Um, one of my favorites. Texas is up, another favorite. Homestead's on there, another favorite. Indianapolis, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
All the tracks that are on the schedule, we run pretty good at. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the schedule. It's good to see Gateway and Texas on there. Gateway, Texas, and Homestead. You gotta handle it those places. You can't. It's not a drafting track, and it's not just stand on it 3 wide for 2 hours. You gotta lift and shift and know what you're doing. So, um, I'm looking forward to those. I'm looking forward to those places, and obviously looking forward to Indianapolis too. You know, Typically run pretty good there as well. So happy for the run. Happy for Matty Wags. Happy for Indy. That was a fun race and a fun finish, and I hope everybody enjoyed it.
Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Anyone you want to say hi to before we let you go?
Yeah, everybody at Indy Alliance Racing, the Global Alliance. I saw Ty show up tonight. We couldn't get him in the Discord, but I was glad to see Ty. I was glad to see him. The LC Motorsports family, obviously Mark Cohn, Matty Wagner, Chris Albrecht. That was a ton of fun racing with those guys in Discord, obviously. Black Magic Studios, Admin Box, everybody at P1, and the fans at home, man. I hope they enjoyed the show. That was a terrific race.
Well, it's a good show. Congratulations on the P3. We'll see you Monday night for the Indy Open when you guys go to St. Pete.
Absolutely, my man. Keep going fast and having fun, Gary. Wood, we'll see you there.
Watch out for tornadoes.
I will do.
All right, there is Murph. We will drag him there. Let's see if we can get Indy in here now.
Allow me, I'll do it.
Oh yeah, if you could do it, that's great. And here is Indy Kirkenbauer. Comes home second today. That might be the bad news for you. I know you're not too happy about anything but the top step, but you are now tied for the points lead, although Matt's going to have the probably the tiebreaker with the 2 wins that he has this season. But Indy, congratulations on the P2 today. Only 16,000th of a second from getting that second career win here in the series. But now one of the co-points leaders. So the great news is you're now in a position to start thinking big picture and possible championship now halfway through the season.
Yeah, and also I missed the first race of the season, so that should be my drop, and I think that drop should be more. So yeah, it was a interesting race. A shot just pulled away from everybody else there, and then like I really did not. That really just was shocking to me, and then I just hung back, saved field, and then eventually that one run I swapped, the one run I didn't. So yeah, it was just I just didn't get a good enough run off of 4 to nip him at the line. 7 out of 10 races I've done in the series, I've got second, so it's just, I guess I'm just I wonder if what's the second place leaderboard on Dark Horse, because I'm sure there's some more to me with how long this series has gone, but I feel like I'm catching up quick.
Yeah, Indy, I was wondering how much the fuel save really mattered this race, especially because the caution came out right during the pit stop rotation. So it looked like you still needed to save a little bit of fuel in order to make it the rest of the race. So how important was saving fuel versus trying to get to the front and holding the bottom line like Matt did there at the end?
Yeah, basically the whole race, once he got broken away, I just wanted to just feel safe. That can make it a little bit longer and then feel less. And there's really no reason to fight. If I go up there and fight, I just slow them down, and then we're at risk of that backpack catching us. So I obviously didn't want that, and I was able to get the second. I just wish it was 16 1,000th more up the road.
Despite the disappointment, still the points leader halfway through the season. Any shout outs, friends, family, sponsors, anybody want to say hi to? You always seem to. So, I mean, they're getting mentioned. So as your role as a driver with a sponsor, you're definitely getting the job done. And now you're the points leader or the co-leader.
Yeah, go-kart sponsors are BGM Marine Associates, make something on YouTube based at heating and cooling, Votive Racing. Thanks everyone watching. Thank you guys for putting on the stream, and I should be here next time for Gateway.
All right, Indy, we will see you in a couple of weeks when we get to Gateway. Until then, he is now our co-points leader going into the Gateway round. Indy Kirkenbauer finishes second today. We'll catch you at the next one, Indy.
Yep, we'll do.
All right, and now I can grab Wags. I see where he is, so I could grab him and pull him into our channel. And here he is, winner again, Matt Wagner. Now, as I said in the lead up to the interviews and everything, Wags, the last race you kind of got it handed to you. It's like all of a sudden you see two guys banging each other, and then all of a sudden you're the leader with 2 laps to go, and all you have to do is just kind of navigate the next 2 laps at Iowa and just bring it home. Today they made you race for it, and you were married to that white line on the bottom. You weren't coming off that thing, and came right down to the bottom line, and just enough momentum to edge out Indy. That brings you now up to the points lead, and now Indy's tied you, but I believe with the points tiebreaker, you're now the points leader with the win, so everything's kind of coming up all Matty Wags right now.
That's I find that really hard to believe, but I'll believe you. You're a broadcaster, and they put up the points, and I haven't looked at the points because I'm not really a championship guy. I'm just go out there and I just go out there and just run. Whatever happens, happens. If I wreck, I wreck. At least I had a good time. Me trying to get a championship in any kind of league I find that really impossible. It's kind of allured me from the Area 51, the Dark Horse. I can't close in Dark Horse, and that in the Horizon. Well, I don't care about that. I care about the other guys in that. But anyway, yeah, those guys really had a chance to get around me. That move that Indy put on me coming to the start finish line, if he would have done that coming to turn 3 into 4, he would have got that W. I was watching everybody making, trying to draft off me. He could have done it. It was just the timing was just a little off, and I was able to hold that bottom line and secure that W.
Yeah, holding that bottom line, being in the lead in these big ovals is always a little bit tricky because you got to make sure that you get the job done, right? So I think you did everything you could to get the win, and you pulled it off tonight. So congrats on that. And yeah, I'm just curious of how you put yourself there. Were you able to come out of the pit stop ahead of everyone and just hold the position, or did you actually have to battle and do a little bit of the swap draft, and then you said, "Hey, it's my my bottom line right now"?
No, leading up to that, we all came to an agreement. It kind of just happened the way it did. It's kind of just happened the way it did. Like Murph called out, said, "Here comes Indy." Just passed Murph, and we all came to an agreement. Let's fight out 4 or 5 to go, and I just happened to be the car on the bottom. So things kind of led up to that. But without Murphy's strategy, we wouldn't have put ourselves in position to win this race. His strategy was just awesome, and I can't really thank him enough.
Well, on top of that, I guess it's a good lead segue into shout-outs. Friends, family, sponsors. Anyone who wants to say hi to, go right ahead.
All right, I got it written down this time. I'm good. All right, I got to thank Taupe Soaps, which they are just about in every IndyCar venue. I've been watching the pictures Victor's been sending us on Discord, which is really good for him. Good business for him. Long John Silver's 40 Racewear. I can't thank my team, Track Rocket. Love those guys. Chris was running with us tonight. I love running with Chris and Mark here. It's without those guys, I am nothing. So you guys with the beautiful broadcast, Eric Peterson putting up the beautiful DW12 series. I love the series. I hope it never goes away. These guys do a fantastic job here. So if you guys are out there and you want to race at DW12, come on out.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah.
Join up. Join the Discord. The link should be in the description below.
I think I got
Join
it all
up,
there.
Sign up. Ask for Eric Peterson. He will assign you a car number, and we'll get you on the racetrack. The schedule's all in the Discord. I did sort of your job there, but it's okay. I'd love to see about 20, 25 drivers.
That'd be awesome.
I know. Yeah, I know. This league switches with votive every other Sunday. Guys with the votive, come on out and race this. Come on out and race this. Mark's in here. Andy's in here. Lilac's in here. What are you waiting for? Come on out and race.
Damn, I think I might sign up now.
You ready to run through a wall for Matt Wagner now?
Yes, I'm sure he would love it. I'm sure he wants to be on track.
And as he mentioned, go ahead.
I'm just advertising. I mean, come on, man. This is so much fun. I've been racing this car since this came out.
Yeah.
And when Lionheart first started, I ran this car. Yeah, did you know I'm the fastest man in Lionheart? I hold the lap record so far. I'm still the fastest man in Lionheart all these years.
At Michigan in this car?
I think it's California.
Oh, California. Okay. All right. Well, and as you mentioned, if anyone's watching from home is interested in being a part of the Dark Horse Racing Series, the car is free. The league is free. Like I said, all you need are the tracks and the drive to succeed and to win. Click on the Discord link in the description to get started. And that's the biggest way to promote this series is when you have the new points leader and winner of the last 2 races out there telling more people to get involved. There you go. There's a personal testimonial right there. Well, Matt, we will see you in a couple weeks when we get to the tighter confines of a Gateway. But until then, you are the points leader.
Yeah,
And we will see you when we get to just outside of St. Louis.
All right, man. Take it easy.
That is Matt Wagner, our winner tonight. Andrew, good race. Only the one caution, and we saw it unfold right in front of us, really, those that were able to come to pit road and maintain those good in-laps and out-laps, stayed together. Those that couldn't got separated. And it came down, we kind of saw it unfold. And unless there was a mistake on pit road that kind of bestowed what happened, we saw with Chris Dahlbrecht, when he got speeding on pit road. The group of 4 became the group of 3, and the group of 3 became those that were going to be racing it out for the win here in the closing stages, and that's exactly what happened. We kind of saw that formed mid-race, and that's how it's unfolded at the end of the race for us. So it was really no big surprise. We were kind of prepared to see a close finish at the end. It just, who was it going to be and by how much? And Wags outlasted them all by 16 thousandths of a second to get his back-to-back win and the first repeat winner of the series in 2 seasons.
Yeah, we love to see green flag pit stops. That shakes everything up all the time. It becomes less of can you hang on to the car ahead of you, and it turns more into can you get in and out of the pit lane and in your box, out of your box quick enough to hold your position. And we saw Tyquilla try something different than everyone else. Otherwise, he was just going to sit at the back of that pack. But unfortunately, he had to save fuel there at the end. And that swap drafting that he and Lilac did together just wasn't enough. But it was still really good to see some green flag pit stops there. And we always like to kind of see which drivers really are prepared.
All right, let's get everyone back. There's Sunday nights here, so they can start the work week. And in my case, I'm checking the radar. Oh yeah, they're just now getting here. So these guys finished just right on time. Right on time. So that's it for tonight. Once again, your podium here from Legacy, Michigan for the 9th running of the Dark Horse Michigan 240. Matt Wagner with his 2nd consecutive win over 16 thousandths of a second over Indy Kirkenbauer. Indy laments about coming home a second again. I think he said it's his 7th second place finish that he's had here in the series. He will get more wins, trust me. But by virtue of just getting more podiums and good finishes, he is now tied for the points lead with Matt Wagner. And Mark Murphy, our defending series champion, comes home 3rd, and he's not out of this running yet here for the points championship. Midway through the points championship this season, he's right there in the running for it. So don't go anywhere, where you still have half a season to go and a lot of racing left. Join Andrew and myself again March 29th with the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear. Heads to Worldwide Technology Raceway for the 8th time in series history for the Dark Horse Gateway 350K. Start time is at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Remember, it's an all-new season, so for the correct broadcast time in your area, remember, we just went through a time change. You can find everything right here at YouTube at youtube.com/@P1 Broadcasting. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not an easy one, so please help support P1 with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know you thought of tonight's race. If you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more of P1's other iRacing programming, including Round 3. Actually, now it's going to be round 4. Round 3. We only had the 2 races of the IndyCar iRacing Series Saturday Top Split. And we'll be coming to you from the streets of St. Petersburg for the first time ever as the best open wheel setup sim racers on all of iRacing, vie for the championship that most closely mirrors the real world NTT IndyCar Series title. Coverage starts at 2 p.m. Eastern time this Saturday. Right here on P1 for the very first time from St. Petersburg. Tonight's 9th running of the Dark Horse Michigan 240 and the Dark Horse Racing Series presented by 4D Racewear. Check out 4D's Made for Sim Racing line of Made for Sim Racing gloves, shoes, and apparel. And now you want to check out their race awards and custom championship rings for your own leagues and races. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on the link in the stream description. Track cams for this race are provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with Whiplash. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook, follow on X and Instagram. All the links you need are in the description. For business inquiries, to learn more about P1 and what we do, like us on Facebook, follow us on X and Instagram, and you can also follow all of our social links on Linktree. You can check those out in the description as well. So for the Catalyst, Andrew Wood, everyone here at Dark Horse and 4D Racewear, I'm Gary Gatto saying thanks for watching, and to all of our men and women serving in the military, especially those in the air and the seas in the Middle East, and all of our first responders out there that might be working tonight here late in the Indianapolis area because of these thunderstorms. Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch it again right here, March 29th at Gateway, the next race of the Dark Horse Racing Series, presented by 4D Racewear, right here on P1. Good night, everybody.